this recently came to attention of the national media due to the recent video that surfaced. I think that is a bit sad because this has been happening for I think 2 to 3 months, and it required an event of that magnitude to bring it to the attention of the national media. So if it had come out earlier, maybe more pressure could have been put, and government must might have taken necessary actions sooner rather than later. But nowadays, if I talk about the news channel from my state, you would think that some movie is going on because every news channel will have some sad music going on or some, I don't know, you think some action movie is going on. The news is less, this action and this drama is more. Football, I think football is popular in many places. I think Kerala, Bangalore has a lot of this fan following. Even in our Northeast, we have a big following of football. But even then, I think ISL, the Indian Soccer League or Super League, has not been able to capture the interest. It started out well, but then it became like the rich teams will attract the top players of poor teams like Northeast United. It started out well, but now most of the good players will go to these top teams like Mumbai and Bangalore, Kerala, and we are left with the lesser. I won't say lesser player, but we don't have that much investment in it.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Pod with Vanas. So in today's episode, we have talked about topics which are concerning the current situation. We have talked about why Manipur is burning, what are the reasons of clashes which is happening currently between different communities within Manipur. We have talked about why current generation of youth and people of our age are moving away from traditional news media over any news channels or newspapers and moving towards online news platforms. We have talked about what are the different aspects of a northeastern state, how vernacular languages are becoming a hindrance in the higher education, and how asking for vernacular mode of education in higher education is maybe not correct at this moment. We have talked about movies, we have talked about DC, Marvel differences, we have talked about sports, especially about football in India. Our today's guest is a PhD scholar in IIT Gandhinagar. He has done his postgrad in IIT Hyderabad, and then he has completed his bachelor's degree from NIT Shilchar. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Shrutimoy Das. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like the content that I create. It's been observed that 90% of you are not subscribing to this channel yet. However, you are watching the content. Please subscribe to this channel if you like the content, and do share your feedbacks about what are the different kinds of topics you want me to discuss, what are the different type of guests you want me to bring in our podcast. Shrutimoy, take us through your journey so far and what you have been up to currently and what you have done so far in your career and so on.
Okay, so currently I'm a PhD scholar at IIT Gandhinagar. So my research topic includes it is based in AI. So everybody does AI nowadays. So I focus mainly on making these AI topics or AI algorithms efficient. So I did my bachelor's from NIT Shilchar in computer science engineering, and then I had a stint at the Intellect Design Arena Limited with you, obviously, in Chennai for a few years, and then I joined IIT Hyderabad, where I completed my master's degree. So yeah, so life nowadays mostly involves going to the lab, waking up, going to the lab, doing research, and then it's on loop.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned that after completing your bachelor's degree, you joined for a brief period of time in a corporate setup, corporate job. So normally, what was the motivation behind for you to switch to higher studies and proceed with it till now?
So my motivation has always been to go into research. However, coming out of bachelor's, I felt I was not ready. I wanted to prepare for competitive exams like GATE. When I also did not want to waste the time during that, just staying at home and preparing for exam. So I thought of joining the company, and it actually gave me a lot of experience, like how to work in team. And yeah, it was a good experience. And I think we should have that experience because after research, there's a big question whether you want to go into academia or you want to go into industry. So if you have really worked in some, if you really have some experience in the corporate world, I think you can make an informed decision there. So I think it will be helpful, or it has been helpful for me to make my decisions after that.
Okay. Okay. Now you have been to NIT and also you have been to triple IT and now you're in IIT. So in terms of research and more hands-on experience that we get in NITs as well as in triple ITs compared to the IITs. So do you think that the research options or hands-on experience, practical experience should be more in from the undergrad than postgrad and maybe now in PhD as well? So up to what level, from what level it should start on so that a student gets good experience in all spheres of his career?
Mhm. So yeah, I think when I was in NIT, our curriculum was mostly about, and I'm talking about NIT from my time, which was a long time back.
Yeah.
It has changed after that, but still, I could say that during my time, it was mostly like preparing for exams, giving, submitting a few assignments, and then that was it. But then I joined Triple IT and now in ID. And I have observed that students here are more focused towards completing assignment or completing class projects, and the ideas that they bring, they are, I think most around 40-50% of those ideas are, you can say, publishable in terms of good results or novelty in the ideas. So I think because nowadays the job market has become very crowded, so it will obviously reward those people who show some individuality or show some novelty, or you could say someone who can I know take advantage of the startup support that the government is currently giving. So I think people should, or the courses should be designed in such a way that the people get more hands-on experience, like do more projects, do more assignments, more coding problems, rather than just sticking to say giving reading it for your exams and writing it, and that's it. So obviously it has improved because I have met students from my NIT Silchar, and they have also said that now the situation has changed. But yeah, I think this should go down to almost all the colleges, even the private colleges. The focus should not be on just completing your courses. It should be on learning how to think, learning how to create new knowledge.
Yeah. So now, having said all this, we are from engineering background, right? So do you think that there is now we have reached a saturation point for engineering courses, and other non-engineering, non-technical courses are also upcoming and getting importance nowadays? And previously, during our time, it was like either do you engineering, or if you're going for non-engineering humanities background, then you are nowhere. But now that perception is changing. People are looking at different spheres of their career and moving ahead. So how far going for engineering will help one as per you, or people should do whatever they think like?
Yeah, I think during our time, yeah, engineering was obviously the number one direction that you would choose. But nowadays, the opportunities are, there are a lot of opportunities, right? So actually here I have met some student. I think last year there was an intern in our college. He was a 12th graduate, or he just passed class 12, and he joined here as an intern. And I had an interesting conversation with him, and he said he had no interest in giving JE or anything. But then I looked at his LinkedIn profile, and actually he was a pretty accomplished, you can say, entrepreneur. He is from Orissa, and he has been working on a lot of these uh, freelance projects given out by UN. And he has
Okay.
traveled to a lot of places over. I think he has gone to Africa, he has gone to South Africa for these projects. So yeah, nowadays you don't need to go to engineering to succeed. You can go for entrepreneurship. You can medical business is also, I think, booming. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of success of these AI companies. You don't need a, I won't say you don't need a degree. You need a degree because you need to know the fundamentals. But even that, even after before that, you can have a set plan on what you want to do. Because even if you want to go into sports, there is a lot of support nowadays for going into sports. You can go into acting. There are these reality shows. You can go
Correct.
into this. So there's a lot of opportunities for you.
Right. Right. Now, you are from which board, if I may ask? You are from CBSE, ICSE, or state board?
Yeah, I was from CBSC.
Right. So now, as we know, in India, we have CBSE, ICSE, and various other state boards. So now, when we go for any higher studies, you have been through all three levels of higher studies, right? Undergrad, postgrad, and now PhD. So in all the courses, the medium of education is in English, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then how, when a student who is coming from state board education system, and he or she may have studied in their vernacular languages, in their own mother tongue, now coming to English, how much difficult it is for a student who is coming for higher studies, and they have to study entirely in English, and which becomes a barrier in a lot of aspects, because first you have to learn English, then you understand the technical knowledge and so on. So what changes should be there in order to overcome this barrier that we have, as per you?
Yeah, it is known that there is no, I don't think there are any technical colleges that impart education in particular languages. Especially if we talk about engineering or even medical, all of those are English medium based institutions. So when we talk about vernacular mediums, there are students who study in vernacular up to class 12 in science maybe, and then they have to make this jump from their vernacular language to the English language, and I think many people suffer from that. I have seen many people who have succeeded. I think their English is much better than me in terms of writing, but they have come from vernacular background. But there are still people who find some difficulty in making this jump, mainly because one of the main things that is required in this technical education is your writing and speaking skills. If you're not able to, you may have a good understanding of your subject, but if you're not able to explain your ideas in good written form, then it becomes a problem for you. And these problems, they can be seen when trying to get admission into a new college. So because you have to write a good SOP or a good for applying for foreign universities, or you have to do some presentation skills for applying for interviews for companies. So these skills, these are highlighted in these areas. So I think one of the things that should be done is that this is a big issue actually in my state, where many people are they want maths and science subjects to only be taught in SMEs. But I don't agree with them, because it is actually setting them backward, because science is not your, I agree that you need to support your culture, but science and maths, those are universal things. You cannot teach them in a local language and keep them contained within a community. You have to let people know what happens outside. You have to train them in ways of the world, not keep it in a closed closed society. So I think improving this medium of communication, or reading and writing skills, especially in technical subjects, is very important for the young student, or young, not even technical, even in humanities or some other subjects.
Right. Now I'm in a software IT industry. I'm working here, so I have seen people in southern part of India where people speak in their native language, let's say in Tamil, Telugu, or Kannada, but they are struggling to speak in English or explain things in English. But when it comes to their work, they are doing extraordinary work. but only thing which is stopping them from coming up is the language of communication. So,
Yeah.
which is a barrier in any industry, I believe. Whenever we have a metro city concept where multiple states people are coming and working together, in those scenarios, this language becomes a gap. But their talent has no barrier in that case. So, I believe language should not be a barrier when it comes to education or any scope in their career. That should be global, as this my view. Yeah. So, now coming to graduation in India. So graduation is a medium to decide what you want to do in your career. So when I was in +2, I believe for you also applies the same. Where in +2 we didn't know what to do with our career. Then we, as everyone goes, we went to our AI that time. Now it's G Mains or G Advanced. We went through that, and then we went to engineering. Now after engineering, only one gets to decide what he or she wants to do in their career. So how far do you think this has changed, or in order to decide what one should do in their career at their undergrad level or maybe school level, at every level, what are the different guidance levels or hierarchy should be there in place so that people get proper guidance instead of going for graduation, then deciding what to do with their career?
I think for if we talk about our generation, we're not that old, but still you can say that we are a generation farther than this. So I think taking the engineering route was the safest route we had, because it was like a set route, like go to engineering and then get a job or go to higher studies, and you can have a basically a safe future, you can say. But I think nowadays, especially with this availability of internet, people have started to learn a lot of skills. So I think even in my place, I have seen in some villages there's a boom of being YouTube content creators. Now in our days this was not there, but I'm not saying anything about the quality of the content. There are good content, no doubt, but this has been a viable source of income for them, and people are really creative when they are trying to do something. They're trying to create something. Of course there will be some compromise on quality, but that is not the issue here. But there's a source of income. So nowadays people are, I think, more likely to take risks instead of going the safe route, getting a government job or going into say engineering. And also with the if we talk about this startup scenario, there are a lot of startups which are, the people, they have not even graduated from college. You can say the exposure to ideas from other parts of the world, that I think it has helped a lot. And I think with the implementation of this new education policy, this will further lead to a diverse career lines that people will follow.
Right. Now, coming to the subject in which you are currently working on in your PhD. So recently in last year, November, we saw ChatGPT uprising. It's like Terminator uprising. So, yeah. So, there was a lot of noise in the social media and internet over ChatGPT and its implementation and how it's going to be used. So you are doing research on AI. So as general terms, how do you define ChatGPT and relevance in the current day and stage? Is it going to impact the jobs at the lower level or not, or higher level? What are the consequences going to be for ChatGPT or any AI for that matter?
I think I believe that AI is not that developed that it is, it has gone to the level of Skynet. It is not going to threaten humanity till now. We don't know what will happen in the future. That is my personal belief. But yeah, ChatGPT is actually a very awesome work of engineering, you can say. And it has come about, or you can say that you can use it as a very, you can use it as your assistant. Maybe you want to write an email or, all those things. But I think it will not put people out of work, because, the role of people will change. Because you see, when cars came about, it actually put the horse carriages out of work. but then they tried to learn driving, and a new job was created. So even with ChatGPT, people will have to adapt, because it is humans will adapt, obviously. So it will not put anyone out of work, but yeah, it will create new directions of work. It will create new jobs. It will make your work simpler, but based on that, you can have more complicated work that can be done more easily. So I think, yeah, with the current rate of advancement, I think every month you have a new large language model coming up. Like Google, Facebook, everyone is using this data to create a new model every month. So at this rate, maybe in 10 years, we'll have a different answer to the threat of AI, if you will.
Correct. Some or the other large organization will come into picture and they'll say, no, we own everything.
Yeah.
Right. So, having said that, you and I both are from NorthEast. You're from Assam. I'm from Tripura. But at the current, when we are recording this podcast, the current moment, there is a burning topic which is going on, that Manipur is divided. There is a kind of a civil war in progress right now in Manipur. So I'm also outside my state. You're also outside of your state. So whatever knowledge we have is from either from our family over there or local newspapers or global newspaper. So what is your take on that ongoing clash, and why do you think this is happening? Is there any involvement or outer factors or anything as per you?
Yeah. So most of my opinions will from what I've seen on Twitter or YouTube. So I don't have an in-depth knowledge about what is happening there. But one thing is that there is obviously some cause that created it. It cannot, someone started it due to some cause, due to some motive. I'm not sure who did it, but that is actually not correct, because a lot of innocent civilians are affected. A lot of kids' education are affected. A lot of families have been torn apart due to this. So this is not something that should be, however evil a person is, this is not something that she should be planning. And another thing is that this recently came to attention of the national media due to the recent video that surfaced. I think that is a bit sad, because this has been happening for, I think, 2 to 3 months, and it required an event of that magnitude to bring it to the attention of the national media. So if it had come out earlier, maybe more pressure could have been put, and government might have taken necessary actions sooner rather than later. But yeah, regarding involvement of outside agencies, I'm not an expert, so I cannot say anything about that. But who knows? Anything can happen in geopolitics. So yeah,
Correct.
it's a speculation.
Right. So now you mentioned that whatever knowledge we have is either from Twitter, Instagram, or any other Reddit for that matter, or Quora. For our generation, or maybe generation after us, why do you think they don't go through news media? They don't trust traditional news channels that we have. What is the reason? We don't watch news at all over the television or anything. We consume news from portals, online applications, YouTube, and so on. So why do you think that has become a normal norm?
So yeah, when we talk about news, like you must have, it might have been the same for your childhood, because we would watch those DD1 news at 7 o'clock, and then
Yes.
the national news at 8 o'clock. And those news channels were like, there was some, you somehow respected those, because there was
Yes.
no music, no dramatic effects. So it was just plain old news, no opinions given by them. But nowadays, if I talk about the news channel from my state, you would think that some movie is going on, because every news channel will have some sad music going on, or some, I don't know, you think some action movie is going on. The news is less, this action and this drama is more. And a lot of these news are opinionated, because one channel will be for the government and the other will be against the
Against
government. And they will never agree on a common, they will never support the government if it is against the government. So this is actually very, it is very you can't get any important information out of there. Now, coming to today's age, I think everybody has a phone. So, and everybody has access to internet. So why go and sit in front of the TV? So even live news, I think most of us don't even watch TV nowadays. Your YouTube and Netflix is available on your phone. So
Yeah.
that might also be a factor why you don't go to watch this news channel. And another thing is reading a tweet or reading it on Quora. You just have to spend 1 or 2 minutes max on, and then you can go through the comments. You get a lot of opinions regarding this. They may be good, they may be bad, yeah, they may
Right.
be biased, but that is easy to get an opinion on it, But if you go to news, you have to watch the same biased. I'm not saying about all the channels, but most of the channels are very biased in their views. So I think that's why Twitter and Quora are very successful in dissemination of this information nowadays.
Okay. Nowadays we don't call it Twitter, we call it X.com.
X.com. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you mentioned about movies, news channels becoming movies. So now coming to movies, are you a DC fan or a Marvel fan?
Okay. So I'm a fan of a good story. I am not like only Marvel or only DC. Any movie or any story is nice. I'm a fan of that.
Okay. So I think we have watched around 29 movies of Marvel to reach up to a conclusion where that end game
Because some
happened.
dedication. Yeah.
With some. Now, if I have to explain to my seniors, let's see, watch this end game, they ask me how many movies I have to watch behind. I said 28. Then I'm not going to watch it. So with all this movies in together, nowadays we see the qualities are degrading, right? So we have seen that Thor that came recently.
Love and Thunder,
Yeah, that was a disaster. Then similarly, a lot of other movies are coming, which is like same formula. One guy is a superhero saving everything. So one director is a famous director, Martin Scorsese. He mentioned this. These are not movies actually. These are some marketing things only. Nothing, no content, nothing. They should be considered as cartoon, nothing else. But there was a lot of uproar back then. But nowadays we are seeing the scenario. So what is your opinion? Why this degradation is coming? Whether the fan following will keep going or not? In terms of both, DC were never able to keep up with the pace, but now they're coming with television series and movies. How long it will sustain?
So coming to Martin Scorsese's statement, he's a great director. I have seen some of his movies, but when he said that this is not cinema, I think cinema, this is my view, and we should not take it as a serious medium. It is a medium of entertainment, and if people are entertained by something, then it's fine, right? You don't have to say that it's not a movie. So he's a great director. I can't criticize him, but I'm just saying that I don't agree with his view. Coming to Marvel movies, I think there has been too much movies that have come out. Like up to Endgame, we got like 3 movies per year, and it was okay to follow those movies. But after that, everything became the same formula, right? There is a multiverse, there is some element of time travel, so it became a lot more confusing. It became the same even in DC. So Flash, he can travel through time, he can do this, he can do that, so everything became the same. All of this became jumbled up, and now it's difficult to figure out which character appeared in which movie. Even I was watching the latest series of Witcher now. The last series came out 2 years before. So I had to remember what characters said what to whom. And nowadays it becomes, due to this creating a sequel out of everything, it becomes difficult to keep track of everything. So I think for me at least, I am moving away from this genre and trying to go into this original movies, you can say, like the new ones that came out, like Barbenheimer, you can say.
Yeah. How was this? Did you watch both Barbie and Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I watched both movies 2 times.
2 times.
First
Okay.
Barbie, once at my home, and then after coming back to Gandhinagar.
Okay. Which one did you like the most?
Yeah, I was surprised by Barbie. Actually, I had no idea what to expect from the movie, and I was very surprised by this movie because if first of all it felt like a child's movie because all of these dolls and everything, but there was a hidden message, there's a hidden philosophy in that movie, and I really, it was like heart touching, you can say, that movie, the message of that movie. And yeah, Oppenheimer is, yeah, I think it will go down as one of the best movies ever.
Okay. So it's a highly recommendable movie, right? I have not
Yeah,
watched
that those
Oppenheimer
movies.
yet.
Oh, you have to watch it. It is highly recommended.
Okay. Okay. Now, other than movies, I believe you're a sports fan as well. As far as I know, you are very addictive towards sports games and European football leagues, right? So, in line with that, like how cricket is popular in India, similarly, why do you think football is not that popular? We have our Indian captain Sunil Chetri, but not of people, they don't know who is he. If he stands in a crowd, 60% people will not know who is he. But if in the same place Virat Kohli stands, everyone will be looking after him. So why do you think that has not come up yet? That football up to that level, being a fan of football.
I think football, I think cricket has been successful because of this marketing factor. Like every cricket, I think not every, but most cricketer will marry some. Their wife will be an
Film
actress in
star.
Bollywood.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there is this marketing factor that comes into cricket. For football, I think football is popular in many places. I think Kerala, Bangalore has a lot of this fan following. Even in our Northeast, we have a big following of football. But even then, I think ISL, the Indian Soccer League or Super League, has not been able to capture the interest. It, it started out well, but then it became like the rich teams will attract the top players. The poor teams like Northeast United, it started out well, but now most of the good players will go to these top teams like Mumbai and
Correct.
Bangalore, Kerala, and we are left with the lesser. I won't say lesser player, but we don't have that much investment in it. So I think we need more investment. We need more partnerships, and more than that, recently India won this SAF championship. So that was a great achievement because we defeated Kuwait, which is a really good team in Asia. But I have seen comments made by coaches that our Indian players don't play as many matches as say the European players play. In Europe, each player plays around 70 matches at max 70 matches per year, per season. But in India, our players don't play that much matches. So I think all these scheduling should be done. This investment should be more. And yeah, we need some more marketability to the game to make it as popular as cricket. And I think we'll get there because it has improved a lot in the last 10 years and it will
Yeah.
improve a lot in the later years.
So, before we wrap up, one last question. So, in your entire career, if you see, or in your entire career, if you given a time travel machine, you go back in a particular time, and change something in your career as part of decision making or something that you want to change, what would that be and why?
So I think if given a time machine, I won't change. I will change a few things on the personal front, like my relationship with people and all those things. But as a whole, I won't change that much because wherever I am okay because I wanted to be at this stage of life. I wanted to be a researcher and with good supports from my friends, from my family, and I'm at a good stage right now, and I don't think I will change that much if given the chance.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for watching till the end in this podcast. If you have liked the content that we have presented to you today, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and share with your friends and family and who you think may be benefited from this episode. Keep looking for more and more episodes in this channel, which will be coming in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you. Thank you for watching.